Let's get it.
Ooh, yeah. Week 1 here.
NFL kickoff. It's official.
Football's back, baby. Football's back.
Macho Man says Raiders gonna kick some ass, man. Yeah.
Man.
Run the clock, brother.
You almost sound like John Gruden if it was in the WWF or something like that.
Yeah, it is a mix. It's a mix of the two.
Yeah. Man, that'd be funny though. If John Gruden was a wrestler, how would that look like? Like, what would his style be?
He'll do like basic wrestling stuff that was done in the '60s, like pile drivers and DDTs.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing new age. Nothing new age, bro.
But he never be able to pin a motherfucker because that's like the red zone.
Yeah.
he whip your ass the whole match and couldn't pin you.
Yep.
Don't forget to clock in, light the thumbs, man. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
track, this is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, they just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed, wow. My cloaking devices just malfunction, guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause your mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scramble they spy drones.
That voice is speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.
We back. Another edition of Around the Shield. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, look, man, it's gonna be another great show. The NFL, hey, it's back. It's officially back, man. Right. And they had to start it off with a nasty game with the I was gonna say the Chargers, but which you know the Raiders gonna play this week, but against the Chiefs. But yeah, man, I'm excited. The season's gonna start for us this Sunday, man. Mike, what's going on? How you doing?
Man,
yeah,
pissed off, bro. The Chargers got the damn nerve to call themselves the LA Chargers, come into my house, my territory, and claim it as their own. Yeah, they over there renting a stadium with the Rams, but we all know that it's Silver and Black's home, man. It's our second home, and we're about to take over on Sunday. I'm excited, man. Let's get this thing started, bro.
Yeah, no doubt we're going to get it started, man. Severe, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, man, same old, man. I'm excited, man. Only a few days left to kick off. So much anticipation, man. It's been a long off season. You know, my first off season as a content creator. It's been fun, but now the real thing begins, man. Now the real thing begins.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a fun season, man. It's gonna be a fun season. We've been doing shows nonstop throughout the off season, and now the season's here. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. Starting with this first game. Let's get started, man. And everybody that's joining us, man, make sure to clock in, like the thumbs, man. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Especially comment after the video so we can hear your thoughts of how you felt about the show. You disagreed with us, all that good stuff. And you might be included on our weekly segment Around the Nation, man, so we can talk about whatever comment that you leave. But you got to make sure you leave a comment after the video. That being said, let's get into it, man. So now let's talk about the injury report right now. The injury report, we'll get into the keys to the game. Mike, let's start off with you because me and Severe, we kind of got the conversation started earlier this week about the Raiders and Chargers. What are you looking at when you? It's a completely different coaching staff with Jim Harbaugh coming in. What are you expecting from the Chargers this week?
I expect them to still be trying to find that identity that they're trying to instill with Harbaugh. You know, you can argue and say that we're going, you know, we went through the same kind of going through the same growing pains, but we kind of had Pierce here last year to kind of, you know, introduce himself and kind of acclimate the team with his philosophy. Yeah. So we have a head start as far as that goes. I think they're still going to be trying to find their identity. And the offense, you know, to be honest with you, the Chargers offense, where's their receivers? Where's their number one receiver? Who's going to be running the ball? J.K. Dobbins? Like, okay, yeah, when he's healthy, he's decent. But we haven't seen J.K. Dobbins in a while. You know, he had the Achilles and major injuries like that. Are we going to get the 100% J.K. Dobbins? Was it Gus Edwards too? Like, they got some question marks at the running back position. So, you know, there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of question marks with the Chargers. And game one, we're catching them kind of at the right time as far as are they establishing, trying to establish that identity, and where we already have our identity. It's
Right.
it's been established for quite a while now. So I think we have the advantage as far as that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And, looking at their offense last year, it was Brandon Staley, huge disappointment, always underachieving under him. I mean, the Chargers always have been like that. What if? Like, the media always picks them to do something, but they always never live up to expectations. Brandon Staley, obviously, he's not the head coach. Last year, they finished, 25th in rushing. So, and they were 20. They're in the 20s in attempts. That's going to completely change under Harbaugh and Greg Roman as his offensive coordinator, who was his offensive coordinator back with the 49ers. And if we're just going to stick to just Harbaugh, like everywhere Harbaugh goes, he incorporates that run game. So I feel like that's going to be a big part of what the Chargers are going to try to do on Sundays, incorporate that run game. And Justin Herbert's not 100% going into this game.
True.
Like they talked about him missing this game, but he's going to try to, I guess, I think he was limited in practice this week, but we'll see on Sunday, man, because Max Crosby, he no regard for human life, man. He's not gonna hold back at all. And this defensive line, and I think the Chargers are aware of that, so I think they're gonna really, to me, in my opinion, they're gonna have a heavy run game. I mean, Severe, what can their offense look like on Sunday with Herbert not being 100%?
I definitely think they're going to lean on the run. Kind of as we alluded to before. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, when healthy, he can be a very dynamic back, but he is coming off several injuries. He's a guy that's oft injured, so we kind of don't know what toll that has taken on his body and how that has affected him. Not only physically but mentally as well. Are you going to run or as hard? Are you going to fight for those extra yards, knowing that somebody can come blindside you and that could take you out? Gus Edwards, he's the guy that's always kind of been second fiddle. He kind of had his best year last year, kind of in like the short yardage red zone role for Baltimore. So maybe he'll probably have that same role here. But with the Chargers, the lack of weapons on the outside, I think, is going to prove very detrimental to them. They got rid of Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler was one of their better receivers out of the backfield. He's no longer there anymore. I know they drafted Ladd McConkey in the first round, I believe, but I think he's wide receiver 3. So
was it first round or was it second round?
Maybe early second. No, early second round. I want to say early second round because Joe Alt was their first round pick. Alt was their first round pick. So they picked up Ladd McConkey, and then they still have Quentin Johnson. And that dude couldn't catch malaria in the rainforest. So he couldn't catch AIDS at an orgy at Magic Johnson's house. Like he can't. His hands are question mark to say the least. So he's a guy that has a lot of physical gifts, but like one of those gifts isn't catching the ball when you're a wide receiver. That sometimes that's the most important gift. So I think with our 2 defensive ends, applying pressure to Justin Herbert, that foot injury is going to limit his mobility. And it's not like in previous years where guys can just step up in the pocket, because you step in the pocket now, you're running right into a guy like Christian Wilkins. So I think that should win us today.
Yeah, and we'll see, man. I'm looking at like their off-season acquisitions, including their draft. Obviously, they added Joe Alt. That should give you a preview of what they're trying to do with that offensive line. You know what I mean? We just talked about Jim Harbaugh liking to run the ball, so he's going to add to the offensive line that was already pretty solid. So
right.
They add a guy to shore up, because at the end of the day, like Max Crosby, I felt like always had a good game against them. So I know they're paying attention to, like, what. In this division, you're gonna have to protect Justin Herbert with Max Crosby on the other side, and obviously the entire Raiders D line and just that division. Looking at, like, they picked up Denzel Perryman, former Charger, former Raider, goes back to I like Perriman. So I think that kind of adds to their defense a little bit. I mean, we'll see how it looks like. They picked up corner Christian Fulton. I don't know if that's going to improve their secondary enough where they can stop a guy like Devonte, who always seems to have a career game every time he plays the Chargers. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I mean, defensively, like what's like your biggest concern, Mike, from the Chargers?
The Chargers defensively?
Yeah, like what is your big concern?
Rushers. Khalil Mack, Bosa, you know, our tackles, you know, ready to go, particularly Thayer Mumford. Is he good to go?
Yeah.
You know, that's my big concern with that as far as that goes. But, you know, kind of rewind what you were saying too. The linebackers is our advantage on offense. They're linebackers, because as much as we love Denzel Perryman wasn't a great, you know, coverage guy.
That's true.
And we got the 12 personnel cooking. We can, you know, get in between that, you know, the DB coverage and the linebacker coverage and just and cook them, you know. And Henley is going to be the other linebacker too, so he's going to be tested as well. But that I had to add that. But as far as, you know, the defense, like the Chargers defense, my biggest concern is definitely Khalil Mack. The last time we saw him, he had 6 sacks. So, you know, that's and that, now you could say that was Josh McDaniels and his, you know, terrible scheming and things like that kind of set up Aiden O'Connell for failure. But it's Khalil Mack still at the end of the day. So, you know, we gotta put some protection on that side, or, you know, wherever Mack is, throw a little bit extra protection. Make sure Bosa doesn't do it. You know, maybe you have tight ends on both sides for max protection in certain situations, and short routes and yards after the catch for our tight ends.
Yeah, you make a good point about their linebackers and coverage, man. That's something that our tight ends are definitely going to have to. The Raiders for sure probably they're circling that like, hey, look, we drafted Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, second-year tight end. You know what I mean? Definitely gonna, and I'm sure the Chargers are gonna be aware of that too as well. They're gonna try to figure out ways to get to the quarterback. But hey, at the end of the day, man, it's football so simple. At the end of the day, like we can literally sum up this whole conversation by it starts and ends with the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially this game. Out of all games, especially this game, where you talk about how they want to impose their will on the run game, we want to impose our will on the run game. And then on top of that, we need to figure out a way to stop the run. And Severe, I know you mentioned this in the past, like about the Raiders' run game really not being. If you had to nitpick Raiders' defense as well as they played last year, their run defense was kind of subpar. I mean, middle of the pack. They were in the 20. They were ranked 20th or 21st against the run. I mean, what would you say? Do you think? Do you feel like the Raiders did enough this offseason to improve that run defense?
The hope is that they did. You know, adding a guy like Christian Wilkins, who's actually, you know, a pretty effective run defender. I think, you know, keeping another year John Jenkins. I think, you know, John Jenkins, he had a career year last year. I think, you know, bringing him back, making sure he solidified in the middle of that defense. And I think just improvements we can make internally. You know, AP, we heard him speak. Well, it was yesterday, I believe. And one of the things he talked about was Devon Diablo, and talked about how, you know, when he was like, you know, he was in that room, like coaching those guys. And, you know, Devon Diablo was one of those guys. He was like, you know, Devon Diablo was asking him about backpedaling. He's like, bro, you're a linebacker. Like, you know, backpedal, but you go forward. And that's one of the things that, you know, he had to kind of coach into him. And he said that, you know, like it's starting to click for Devon, and that he said he thinks Devon's going to be a breakout player. So if we can get some, and we saw it a little bit in preseason, right? Like on that very first play of preseason, who was the guy in the backfield making the tackle? It was Devon Diablo. So I think if you get some improved play there, I think that can go a long way toward shoring up the defense. And I think we'll have better tackling on the outside. No more Marcus Peters. I think Jacorian Bennett, one of the things people questioned about him coming out of Maryland was his tackling, but he showed early in the season that he was a very willing tackler, and he's a very physical guy. So I think that just improved tackling from the corners as well is going to be something that's going to help kind of shore up that run defense.
Do you think him losing weight, Diablo losing weight, kind of will affect him in the run game?
I think at the end of the day, he's not a banger kind of guy. He's a guy that's he's gonna shoot the gap and do that kind of stuff. So I think that it's if anything, it's gonna help him because he'll be able to move a little bit more free. Like if either way, if a guy gets to the second level on Diablo, I don't care if he's 240 or 230, like it's play over. He's not, so I'd rather have him have that added quickness to maybe dip a shoulder and get around a guy or go back door on a guy and make a play that way. Than have him trying to be big and trying to, take on guards and stuff like that. That's not his game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I feel like Patrick Graham, everywhere he's this might be even a scheme thing too as well. It might be a scheme issue too. Because come to think about it, wherever Patrick Graham went as a defensive coordinator, they kind of struggled in stopping the run. I think the Giants, if you guys remember, they struggled stopping the run. Even that I remember that game where the Raiders were playing the Giants and Patrick Graham was the defensive coordinator, and if y'all remember, Derek Carr throws the dumbest pick six. But going into that game, even Josh Jacobs had a pretty good game, and that was a area of weakness for that defense was stopping the run. And again, Patrick Graham, it might be a scheme issue. Maybe he doesn't have the right personnel. Who knows? Maybe, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why Silvera makes the team. He doesn't give you a lot in the pass rush, but he's a guy that he can stop the run, and he backs up a guy like John Jenkins. I mean, Mike, like, what do you think about this? Do you think it's like a scheme issue, or do you think that it's like the Raiders just need to get better at certain positions?
I think it's just getting better at certain positions. Now, what we do see from Graham is that he's going to be in that 4-2-5 look. And if that was primarily his look, even with the Giants, maybe it was, maybe you didn't have that box safety coming in and he wasn't a willing tackler, or your linebackers weren't that great either. You also got to keep that into consideration. Now, fast forward to what we saw with the Raiders, especially with Diablo, he was making a lot of tackles, but he was making it well after, they were getting their yards. So, it's got to be solid linebacker play, especially when you only got two of them.
Yep.
So you got to have that, and then you got to have that box safety or that slot corner being a willing tackler as well. Now I can't really speak on for what was going on with the Giants, but that's what is needed. With the Raiders, I mean, you got Nate Hobbs, who's definitely a willing tackler too. So check that off the box. We got that. And then, we got the safeties who they're going to do their thing when it's time. And then the corners, we, like you said, like Severe said, Jacorian Bennett shown he's a willing tackler, and Jack Jones is just scrappy. He's gonna do whatever it takes. So, so it just really comes down to personnel. And I think Patrick Graham hasn't had those two studs at linebacker to stuff the run. I don't think he's had that yet. But I'm optimistic with Diablo, him losing some weight. It's a money year for him. And he's got to deliver, or else, he'll be the money won't be as much next year wherever he goes, even if he stays with us, whatever may happen. A lot is depending on what he does this season. So I have him having a breakout season just for the fact that, he's lost some weight, he's prepared, and he's looking for a payday. So I'm looking for Diablo double-digit tackles in this game.
Yeah, man. You're calling your shot right now. You're calling your shot, man. It sounds like he might be a player to game. Final, I don't know, a guy that probably can win that player of the game. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an unsung hero.
Game ball recipient. Game ball recipient.
There's all kinds of titles for that, bro.
He's gonna get the game ball. I mean, like I predicted, I think on the 50-50 show, I think I said I had him getting the first sack of the season. I think that they're gonna run him on the blitz. I think he'll get home.
I think the first person that really kind of caught my eye when when that brought his name up was Marvin Lewis, head coach Marvin Lewis. You know, we always say, like, when you guys watch the Raiders media and whatever they got going on, you just got to read between the lines. Sometimes they kind of give you the whole, you know, like, just another game, you know, one play at a time type of speech. But every now and then they might give you some gems. And he immediately, when they asked him, like, who's a player that looks good so far, and he immediately said Adam Butler and Devonte Adams. So that's good to hear. But what I really was trying to say, because I was in the midst of like thinking of a few things, I wanted to that run defense is going to be something we got to keep an eye on, because if we can't stop the run, then all that talk about us trying to get to the passer and rushing the passer, I think teams are going to be trying to test us in that area. And I felt like some of our biggest losses, like if you even think last season, were against teams where we struggled to stop the run. I mean, if you think about the Bears, they had a undrafted rookie at quarterback, and if he couldn't get off the field, we couldn't stop the run. Shout out Lou Getsy. You know what I mean? Hopefully he brings that run offense to this team.
No,
but we'll see, man. Week one, it's so unpredictable. We don't know what's gonna, a lot of things can happen. No one really knows what to expect, but we know. I just have a good feeling that it's gonna be a physical game, and the run game is definitely gonna be heavily involved. Let's take a look at the injury report real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and post this or put this on the screen so everybody can take a look here. Let me see. I'll move this out the way so y'all can see. All right, so pretty much for the most part, it's been Raiders are pretty healthy. Along with, I did see Tyree. I looked at this. I was like, "What's going on, Tyree foot? Really? Like, what's going on, man? It's not a good. Is it the same foot? But he practiced in full. He practiced in full Wednesday and Thursday. But this is kind of a concern. He did come into the league with an injured foot. So if it's the same one that's giving him, it's not. Malcolm Koonce on here, limited. Severe's favorite linebacker on the team, Tommy Eichenberg.
This dude, bro. This dude, man.
He's limited.
Don't even get me started, man.
But the biggest concern right here is Jackson Powers-Johnson, man. Right now he is dealing with the injury bug. Now he had an illness, so he didn't participate in practicing, but obviously he was out for a while, missing a lot of the offseason due to I think a concussion, which was crazy. So that's not good when you're missing all that time because of a concussion, and those types of things tend to linger. The Chargers, on the other hand, they're pretty much healthy. I mean, DJ Shark, this dude's always hurt. Yeah, always hurt, man. Always hurt. Always hurt. He was a guy that, had some potential early on. Big receiver, speedy receiver, deep threat, but just never can stay healthy. Never can stay healthy.
3 years ago, I think we flirted with signing him. I want to say 3 years ago. Or when Gruden was here. We flirted with signing him.
Yeah, that free agency class, for sure. But then, was it the? I think it was McDaniels.
Was it McDaniels? Possibly.
Yeah. And then we got
his first year.
Yeah.
And then we end up getting Devonte, and we're like, you know what? It doesn't matter because we got
we good. Yeah,
we good. Herbert obviously has an injury, but he practiced in full all week. But that's something to keep an eye on, man. I think they're gonna try to protect him every way they can. But for the most part, both teams pretty much are healthy. I mean, I feel like the Raiders got more people on the injury report, but they all practice for the most part, except for Jackson Powers-Johnson. Mike, are you concerned about Jackson Powers-Johnson just being I mean, it says illness, so he's not hurt, but he's just out because of illness. I mean, doesn't sound too serious, but he's just missing a lot of time.
Yeah, he's missing a lot of time, but let's give him some time. He's a rookie. We can't have high expectations for him, to be honest with you. And I think probably around game 2 or 3, we'll see him. But we'll give him some time.
Yeah,
baby steps, super baby steps.
Yeah,
and he's dealing with an illness, so I'm not super concerned. But game 3, game 4, somewhere around that, he better be ready to rock.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I can't wait to see him, man, because I think he's gonna be a big piece of that O-line. I feel like he makes it that much better, just because no one wants to see Cody Whitehair start. You know what I mean? That's not what we don't want that to happen. We like Parham at right guard. Hopefully he can pick up on the magic that he had at right guard at his rookie year. You know what I mean? Yeah. I felt like he's kind of been inconsistent at that left guard spot. Maybe he could be better at that right guard spot. We'll see. But if we can add Jackson Powers-Johnson, you add him with Cole Miller, Parham, and then if, just Mumford could just hold it down on the right side, or to be honest with you, this might be a crazy best case scenario if, DJ Glaze, he just takes over that spot, and that's our right tackle for the future. You know what I mean? Like he holds.
Also, another thing that should be considered is maybe possibly moving Munford at guard if things go wrong with Whitehair. Move him into guard, throw Glaze over on the right side, and then rock that way.
Yeah.
Because Munford, he did play guard before. He's done it before. He did it in college with Ohio State. So, and Glaze had a good camp. He moves very well. He seems to be a good fit with the wide the wide zone style type of blocking that they want to do with run game. Yeah. So it's a good fit, and I think that if he does come into the game, it's not an ideal thing, but I think he'll hold his own.
Yeah. And I think the Raiders are trying to put the best 5. It's a good problem to have. If you got another offensive line that you could add to the mix, which is DJ Glaze. We didn't even expect him to be this good so early. But that just makes everything that much. And now the Raiders have options now. You could just bring along Jackson Powers-Johnson. You don't have to force the issue. That's actually a good point. Parham moving back to left guard is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, just because it's a continuity thing. He knows it, and just throw Munford on the other side of guard. He might be our best option at guard at this point when JPJ is down. So why not? Yeah. And Glaze shown that he can hold his own, and in a limited role or in relief for a game, I think he'll be all right. Now, for the entirety of the season, I don't think so. Not yet. That he might get exposed through film and things like that. So, but in a limited role, for a game or maybe even a couple games or whatever, then I like that idea. If Cody Whitehair doesn't work out.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a solid idea. I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. But real quickly, Severe, give one key to the game to win the game for the Raiders.
I mean, we talked about it ad nauseum, man, but stop the run. I think that is the number one thing. If we stop the run, I think that allows Malcolm Koonce and Max Crosby to peel their ears back and attack. And one of those guys is going to be, one of those guys got Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater is a dog. Mm-hmm. He's a dog. Yeah. But the other guy has Joe Alt. And while Joe Alt is a very good prospect, he's a rookie. And he ain't seen these guys yet. He hasn't seen a guy with the tenacity and the moves of a Max Crosby. He hasn't seen the guy with the kind of twitch that Malcolm Koonce has, and that's combined with grown man strength. It's not like 18, 19, 20-year-old strength. That's like just grown man strength now you're dealing with. So it looks a little bit different. So, and I said it a few times already, like last year, toward the end of the year, there were times, especially I want to say for sure in the Chiefs game, there were times where teams were saying, "Know what? We're gonna throw the double over here on Malcolm Koonce." we're going to throw a chip over here at Malcolm Koonce. We're going to give Crosby a one-on-one. That's how dominant Koonce was at times toward the end of the year. Like his pass, like, you know, and Mike can probably speak to this better because, you know, he has PFF, but I think his pass rush run rate was like top 5 or something in the league over the last 8 games, like something ridiculous. So he was a dominant player, and I want to say both of those guys were like top 10 rushers toward the back half of the year. So, you know, if we can stop the run, that gives all those guys the opportunity to do what they do best, and that is, you know, rush the passer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say don't turn the ball over. You know, in a game where we're talking about the run game, we're talking about how it's gonna be a physical game, it's gonna be a defensive game. Time of possession is gonna be huge. Meaning there's not gonna be a whole lot of possessions. Meaning that you can't turn the ball over. A game like this, turn the ball over, you're gonna lose the game. I mean, it's simple as that. And Minshew is gonna have to be a big part of that being successful, because we understand, like, you know, his MO in the past has been that gunslinger, you know, sometimes reckless with the football, fumbling, maybe throwing some picks. You know, that needs to be he is now the starter for the Las Vegas Raiders. He needs to take that very seriously, and hopefully this game we come out on top when it comes to turnovers, and we don't turn the ball over more than the other team, in this case the Chargers. So I would say turnovers for sure. Definitely big key to game. Mike.
Yep. So I'm gonna go on offense and defense. So for our offense, for the Raiders offense, they got to get the tight ends in the mix. And when I say the tight ends in the mix, they got to be a big focal point as far as run blocking protection. If they do establish the run, then we can go play action, and then we can dump it off to those tight ends, especially because they don't have the greatest coverage linebackers in the world. Mm-hmm. So utilize the tight ends on offense. That's one key. And then as far as defense goes, stop the run like you said, but moreover, you know, to kind of just solidify what you said about stopping the run. If we don't stop the run, that sets up the pass via play action, and that'll get the passing game going. So we got to stop it from the beginning, the run game. So when they do try to pass the ball, we're not having to worry about the run game, the play action be ineffective, and we can go full tilt ahead after the quarterback. So that's the key to the game. And I will say this, Michael Mayer is going to get on the board. I think that because there is a clear advantage as far as our tight ends versus what they have on, you know, a linebacker, maybe they'll put a safety on them. But, you know, we got 2 athletic tight ends, strong tight ends that can outman and outstrength a DB. So in that situation, we get into the red zone. I see a quick pass in the red zone for Michael Mayer for a touchdown. And that might be one of his only few catches of the game, but they're going to find him in the red zone. I think he's a big target, and that's going to be, all season when it's all said and done, whoever's at quarterback, that's going to be their safety blanket, especially in the red zone, is going to be that Michael Mayer, that big target. I think he's more effective in the red zone than a Brock Bowers at this point of his career. And I think that Michael Mayer is going to definitely get on the board because of the clear advantages that we have against their defense with that. So those are my keys to the game right there. Tight ends, focal point, whether it's the run blocking protection or, you know, going out for passes, getting short passes, and us stopping the run and making that play action ineffective.
Yeah. Hey, and everybody in the chat, man, make sure to let us know, man, what's y'all keys to the game? What do you guys agree with what we're saying here? Let us know in the chat. Also leave a comment if you guys are watching the replay. And just let us know, man, what are we missing here? If there's an extra key. Mike, you make some great points, as well as Severe. Look, at the end of the day, you can't turn the ball over. You got to stop the run. And in our case, Mike just got really specific, which is a very great key. He talked about the tight ends as well. Get him involved early and often, because you identified a Chargers weakness, and it's their linebackers in coverage. So that's a great key to victory, man. So let us know in the chat, man, what y'all think, man.
Hey, one thing I noticed, if you look at the injury report, every rookie is hurt except DJ Glaze, I want to say. There's the only one that's still on the team that ain't hurt.
Yeah.
Like Brock Bowers hurt, Jackson Power Johnson hurt, DeCamerion hurt, Tommy Eichenberg hurt. Dylan Lobby and DJ Glaze are the only two that are still on the roster and not hurt.
Yeah.
You know, Trey Taylor, IR, MJ Devonshire, gone. So all these other dudes is hurt. It's crazy.
Yeah. Technically, they've practiced all week, but they're already dinged up. They're already kind of like, you know, and there hasn't been even a first game yet. So that is something to keep an eye on, because usually
that wear and tear for rookies in the NFL. You know, this is a higher tempo. You know, the Raiders practice seems like it's a brawl, free for all every game. I mean, every time they're out there. So these youngsters have to, you know, get acclimated to the level of physicality and intensity for Raiders practices. So because that's the standard in the NFL too. So you got to bring your lunch pail, man. I mean, and they'll learn. It's probably little things that we don't have to worry about too much.
Yeah, but usually rookie. Samir does make a good point. Like usually with rookies, it would happen at some point in the season. Oh, you know, they hit that rookie wall. They're getting dinged up. But this is happening like literally before even the season started. Like the whole draft class is getting hurt. But
you know, I'm kind of going out on a limb, but maybe it's a load manage kind of deal. Yeah. So they don't hit that wall later on. Yeah. Maybe it's that. I mean,
that's true.
I'm gonna stay optimistic, and I want to lean on that side and saying that might be the case. You know what I mean? Like, I hope so. You know, I hope that's the case.
For sure,
Week 8, we're talking about everybody's going down because how physical they were in training camp and things like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely trying to see Tommy Eichenberg, man. We haven't seen him play not one snap of football, man.
He better be damn good, bro. He better be damned good. He better be neck roll good, bro. He better be.
Look, Severe though, like if Rattler, because I know why you're saying it, because it's Spencer Rattler. You're saying it because it's Spencer Rattler. Yeah. I'm sure you have your reasons too, is why you felt like they probably should went somewhere else with it. But let's say Spencer Rattler doesn't turn out to be a good player. Do you still feel the same way about the pick? Like the Raiders could have went somewhere else other than a linebacker?
Yeah, unless Tommy Eichenberg turns out to be a damn good linebacker, like Pro Bowl level linebacker, I'd rather take my chance on a talent the level of Spencer Rattler than on a linebacker with the talent level of Tommy Eichenberg. Not saying Tommy Eichenberg is a bad player, like he was a good player in college, but I'd rather take a chance on a guy that, like I said, you know, ad nauseum, he's at one point was projected top 10 pick in the NFL draft. I'd rather at that particular position, when we have that kind of need and we have that dearth of young talent on the roster at that particular position, I'd rather go there because I can get a Tommy Eichenberg, you know, in another draft class. Like there's no guarantee you're going to be able to get a guy the talent level of Spencer Rattler. Like that's basically the same calculation that Atlanta made. You know, it's completely different, you know, different value of draft picks. But they's like, look, never will we have a guy the talent level of Michael Penix fall to us at 8. And we don't expect us to be picking this high again anyway. We're going to be expecting to be picking in the back half of the first round or late in the first round. So the fact that we have a guy that, you know, in any other draft class probably projected number 1 and number 2 overall pick, like I'm going to take my chance on that, you know. And I think we had a guy with, you know, the arm talent out the atmosphere, and we passed on him. So, and Tommy Eichenberg still ain't touched the real football field yet. So it's
to sum it up, y'all. Hey, Severe's calling his shot. The Tommy Eichenberg Defensive Rookie of the Year, man. That's pretty much what he's saying, man. Just this translation. I'm just gonna translate for y'all. Like, that's what
look up the odds on that on bet. Like we ain't got no sponsorship. Look at the odds on that, bro. If you want to put $5 on that, oh, you walk.
Hey man, we'll see, man.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get a chance to see him play. I mean, there's 7 linebackers on the roster, so hopefully he'll have a chance to even get on the football field. But we'll see how that shakes out. But let's move it along, man. Hey man, it's that time, man. It's Around the Nation. This is where we go to the people, man. We go to the nation and we try to see what everybody's talking about, even from comments to social media, left and right. This week, we actually didn't. We went to a conversation that was happening recently about Davante Adams. Davante Adams, he's been in the news like this whole offseason with the Raiders, man, and a lot of it is like the media trying to project and trying to predict that Davante is eventually gonna, be a diva receiver and one out. It didn't help that he had that documentary, The Receiver, and he was kind of, he did make some comments like, hey man, if he was still quarterback, I would have, finished that sentence, but that didn't help. And in his contract too, people are looking at his contract and the Raiders, and he came here because of Derek Carr. Derek Carr is no longer here. His former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, elite quarterback, Minshew, respectively, is not that as of right now. You know what I mean? I'm keeping some hope. I'm gonna be positive. That being said, DeSean Jackson on Colin Cowherd show made it seem like he spoke to Davante Adams and pretty much said that he's not happy with the Raiders and he eventually wants out. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip and you guys let me know how you guys feel about it. Let's see right here. Let me put this on the screen here. Let's see. My bad, y'all. I'm going to get this going. Let's see.
This one's tough because, me and Davante, we've talked and man, I hate to do it because I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, DJAX said this and said that. But at the end of the day, he is unhappy. I mean, you go from Aaron Rodgers, then you come to the Las Vegas Raiders. And now not only Jimmy G, you had your boy Carr.
That's right, Carr.
It didn't really work out that you thought, from the Fresno State days, you think they would come back and work everything out, and it's just like it just quite didn't work out. So now I just don't think he's really that happy there. So this year, I mean, where are you gonna get your production from? Are you believing in Gardner like that?
Not really, but let's say they're 2-6. Do you think he says, guys, come on, we're going nowhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw the deuces, man. I got to get out of here. And one thing,
the facts are the facts, and that is not a fact. I've probably spoken to DeSean Jackson maybe 3 or 4 times in my life, and I never had a conversation with him ever, and I put that on my kids. I've never spoken to him about anything. The only person I really talk to about my feelings in general is my wife, probably, and she ain't out there leaking anything and dropping stuff like that in the media. So once again, whatever you see, if it ain't from the horse's mouth, it's probably so. I guess they got what they wanted this time. Whatever has been put out there lately is complete BS. I've never talked to DeSean Jackson about one thing, so I don't know why. I didn't see the interview, so I don't even want to say. I don't know if that is a real quote that came out or how that played out. But in terms of me being upset or not being happy in this organization, it's just a bunch of BS that's just meant to throw everybody off and get, clickbait. Everybody want to see what Davante Adams got to say, and, he's pissed off in Vegas. If I was pissed off, I wouldn't be here right now. Like I said, back at my camp, when one of the things somebody here might have interviewed me then. I don't do a lot of the extra stuff, and whatever you hear from my mouth is what you get. And I don't think that y'all stand in front of me getting the vibe that I want to leave this place. And if you do, then you just feeding into that they feeding y'all out there, and that's not reality. So,
all right, we're not done. We're not done. So you heard Davante Adams respond to DeSean's comments, and DeSean, who's trying to get himself in the media, he also has a podcast with LaShawn McCoy, 2510. Y'all go check it out. But he responded, so I'm gonna go ahead and play that clip in just a second. Let's see here.
was on Colin Hurd and I was asked a question about Davante Adams. And personally, I shouldn't have probably spoke on the situation. But me being a receiver that was once respected at a high level in the NFL and just seeing the past 2 years, how frustrated that man was, I spoke on a situation that I probably shouldn't even have spoke on and put his business out there saying he was unhappy. It never came from his mouth, it came from my mouth. At the end of the day, I love Las Vegas. I played there once before. It's nothing personal, nothing to do with Devonte or the Raiders. At the end of the day, it was my opinion, and I spoke on something that I felt as a receiver that played at a high level, and seeing his body language and seeing how things was last year, it's very frustrated. But to say anything else, cap or line or anything else, at the end of the day, you're right. He never told me anything. I spoke it. It's my words, and I said it. He looks unhappy, and at the end of the day, he don't got no quarterback there. So let's say that. Let's set the record straight on that. Everybody will see this year. I hope he does well. I'm never a hater. I want to see him ball because he's a hell of a player. One of the best in the league, if not the best. So at the end of the day, I hope he balls out. I hope he does his thing, but I just feel like he don't have no quarterback. And I wouldn't be happy if I didn't have no quarterback after leaving from a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the top elite guy. And when he went to Vegas, he ain't had that. The production obviously showed. It dropped. So at the end of the day, let's clear it straight. I'm DJAX, 2510. We're going to drop this exclusive there. We ain't looking for no clickbaits. We ain't looking for nothing. I'm going to just set the record straight and tell y'all, ain't no cap. I said he's unhappy. I ain't got to do what he said. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's speaking. I'm the one that said it. We're going to clear it there, and that's what it is.
All right, man. That's DeSean Jackson. And I guess I'm just going to start it by saying... So, hey, man. Yep. So look, I thought that was real funny of DeSean Jackson of just kind of making it seem like he spoke to Davante Adams. When you heard that first clip, he made it seem like he speaks to Davante Adams all the time or whatever. He just made it seem like he talks to him. They're cool.
Yeah.
And then Davante kind of put him on blast.
I talked to Davante. He literally said, I spoke to Davante Adams.
In a dream, bro, like or something, exactly. Bro. Like what you
like maybe he probably spoke to him, but he didn't speak to him about that. He probably like walked by and said, "Hey," he's like, "Oh yeah, I spoke to Davante." And he said he ain't happy. But it's wild, man. I will say this, man. This is something that we got to stop. You know, and not us, but just the media. You got to stop running with these narratives, attributing quotes to people that really didn't say them, or taking things out of context purposely to twist the story in your favor, or to make something out to be bigger than what it is. Like, and to say straight up that or to insinuate that he said those words, and put it out there as if he spoke them personally to you, and it's not just something you saw third party or saw from afar and interpreted it yourself, or put yourself in or projected your feelings of how you would feel if you were in that situation to him, and then spoke from that perspective. No, you made it seem like he actually said it. So we can't be doing that. But on the same token, I will say this: like, Davante, don't act like the only person I speak to about my feelings is my wife, bro. You're on national effing television complaining for 17 effing weeks, bro. Don't act like you ain't out here airing your grievances on a daily freaking basis. So don't act like you just some still trap, I'm some stoic figure and nobody knows how I feel at any time. But dude, stop that BS, bro. Everybody saw it on TV. That's why this story popped up in the first place. So, like, that's on you at the end of the day as well, because you said that stuff, bro. Nobody put those words in your mouth. You a grown man, stand on your 10 toes. You were saying that stuff. Maybe you don't feel that way now because things have changed, but at some point you made it seem like you did feel that way. So that's why people was reading this much stuff into it in the first place.
Yep. Man, severe, man. I feel you. Mike, where you at on this?
First reaction when I saw this was like, first the original interview when he said that he spoke to Davante is. How much did they pay you to say some anti-Raider stuff? Because it just seems like that is the grift of the offseason. Let's say the most egregious, disrespectful nonsense about the Raiders in general. I wish we had a whole list. We Mike Florio, he's gonna do it. Colin Cowherd, he's gonna do it. Mina Kimes was just talking about Devonte Adams getting traded to the Commanders. Like on top of the numerous times we've seen, there's a rumor that he wants to go to the Jets and they want to reunite with Aaron Rodgers and all this other nonsense, right? On top of the disrespect that the Raiders have been getting throughout this whole offseason. I don't think I felt as strong as I've felt in a long time. This might be the strongest I ever felt about wanting the Raiders to win because of the nonsense. This is the biggest amount of disrespect that I've seen in an offseason towards the Raiders probably ever. I haven't seen it at this level before. So every bit of ounce of my being I want the Raiders to win just to shut everybody up. Just to shut everybody up because it's been one thing or the other and it's all been negative. And, even to the point where even I'll admit there were some things where, Davante Adams, especially with the whole preseason thing and, kind of having a slight disagreement with Antonio Pierce, whether or not he was going to play. I kind of fell into that whole trap, like, maybe there's some issues going on, internally. I fell into the trap and maybe thought that it was some issues. But looking at Davante Adams at the press conference and looking at his body language, there's none of that going on. I'm pretty convinced now that there's nothing going on, along with his words that he's been saying over and over and over and over and over again, that everything is good. I want to stay in Vegas. I'm happy here. I'm happy that it's going well. Hopefully that it ends well. And I'm just sick of the disrespect, man, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. But I'm also with Severe on this, man. Like, Davante Adams doesn't help himself. There's been different points in times where he kind of puts himself in a situation where you start questioning, like, is this going to eventually lead to a trade or something like that? So, I've mentioned where he had an article, he sat down with some reporter and he talked about how he didn't agree with the Raiders offseason. This is back with Dave Ziegler and McDaniels. And then he had to come out on social media on his story with his hand around Dave Ziegler like, hey, this guy, we're good friends. You know what I mean? Trying to make it, we're cool, we're buddy. And then, this whole situation recently, fast forward with Pierce and playing this preseason game. Same thing he had to do it again with, he puts a GOAT with Antonio Pierce in it. It's and then, the receiver documentary. So it's like, on one end, I think right now, I think it's good. I don't think there's any issues, but for now, that's kind of how I feel for right now.
Yeah. You know what? I would love to see a social experiment be done, because whenever we've seen a quarterback, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, even Peyton Manning, sometimes when things go wrong, they have a fit in the sideline too. And nobody was talking about them getting traded in those kind of situations. Now I know that they're winning in those situations, but when things go wrong, winning or losing, a big competitor like at the elite level like a Tom Brady, you could throw Davante Adams in there, they're going to be visibly upset. Doesn't necessarily mean that they want to leave or get out. They're just visibly upset. So there is that. But I will agree that he has done it to himself, just agreeing to do the receiver documentary and kind of how it was portrayed. And I blame Patrick Mahomes for that, to be honest with you. He was the director,
executive producer.
And of course they're going to, paint it a certain way. But at the same time, Davante Adams did say, if he was talking down on the quarterback situation. But to be honest, that was the worst quarterback situation
It was bad.
You know, like that's we all complained.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
just imagine, Davante Adams, who's in the building every day with this guy, and seeing the ins and outs, and going from, playing with his buddy, and then before that, playing with Aaron Rodgers, and then going to like the absolute worst quarterback situation probably in the league last year. I'd be frustrated too, and I would be like, I would express myself in a way where like, hey, we got to fix this. So yeah, he's definitely done it to himself. But can we blame him? Can we blame him 100% for that? I don't know. I don't think so.
Right, and I'm with you. I think I'll pass it on to Severe, but I'm with you. He has every right to be frustrated, for sure. Like every right. My thing is that we're fans of the team. We follow the game. We follow the team. We can say whatever we want.
Yeah,
right.
We could say whatever we want, and there's really no consequences. Really, we keep it respectful. Obviously, I mean, I like to keep it respectful. I'm not gonna take it all the way there because that's just I wouldn't do that in real life. So why would I do that? On here, but for Davante Adams, I feel like he has a responsibility to the team because when he talks, everybody's listening. But Severe, what you about to say?
Nah, man, just like you were saying, bro, words have power, like no matter how bad that situation is, bro, you're putting that negative energy out there. Like imagine being at work and you don't like the work performance of somebody you're working with. So you go to every other person you're working with and saying, bro, I cannot stand this dude. This dude is the worst worker I've ever worked with. Like that doesn't make things better, bro. Like that doesn't, like anybody else would be like, yo, bro, this dude's a gossip. This dude, they'll say all kind of stuff about this dude because that's not how you supposed to conduct yourself, bro. If you have an issue with somebody, it's like in the Nation of Islam, bro. Like not to take it there, but like you're not allowed to say anything behind somebody's back that you wouldn't say in their face. Right? That's their rule. So you can't go around gossiping because if you go around gossiping somebody, they're gonna be like, know what? You and him, now y'all talk about it. You say what you just told me, you say it to his face. So like imagine that weird dynamic, bro. Like all this time, Jimmy G has to work with this dude. They're working together, they're working toward a common goal. Now, obviously, Jimmy was bad, like the play on the field speaks for itself. But he's working toward being a better player. And I'm sure in his face, Devonte is saying the right things. But then you find out that later, this entire time, this dude was dirting me behind my back. Like, how does that make? Like, how? Like, bro, like, how would you feel if somebody was doing you like that? That's like, bro, like, you can't move like that and say you a leader and then say I don't talk about my emotions, bro. It's all everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. So it's like I just like I said it last year. Like, it's cool to be upset about a situation, but there's ways to go about it, and it's very similar to how Josh McDaniels handled the team. It's cool to coach somebody hard, but there's ways to do it where they don't feel disrespected and it's not, it doesn't feel like an attack on them. And Josh McDaniels didn't handle the way he coached the team right, and I don't think Davante Adams handled his unhappiness with the quarterback situation or with the team losing in the proper way.
Right. And it like you said, it's a tough situation. He has a right to be frustrated. It's just like, hey, look, you're a captain on a team. Everybody, you're the best player, arguably, on the team. Like everybody's gonna look at you, and that's usually we're looking at the quarterback. We're looking at the head coach. We're looking at the quarterback. But Devonte happens to be the best player, arguably the best player on the team. I think Max is he's probably right there or kind of close to surpassing him there. But everybody's going to be looking at what you say. Everybody's going to be listening. It comes with the responsibility. I don't think they've announced their captains yet. They might announce it before the game or this Friday or whatever. We might find out. I think we'll find out soon as far as who the captains are. I'm pretty sure that like Devonte is going to be a captain
for sure.
Devonte is going to be a captain. Look, hey, I don't think there's any drama right now. Just to sum it up, I don't think we think there's drama. I just think that for now, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
for now,
exactly.
It could easily it could change. It could definitely change.
Yeah.
I could see it
changing. Winning solves everything, But
Facts.
conversely, losing exposes everything. So we'll see.
Facts.
Yeah, facts, 100%, man. So, and it's gonna start
Who y'all
this
think
Sunday,
be
man.
captains? Who y'all think being captain? Now that you brought that up, offense and defense. Who do y'all think?
Oh, definitely Max, and Devonte. How many captains are? I know there's special teams for sure, right?
Yeah, he's special teams. Yeah.
Ooh.
I think it's pretty obvious.
I think Spillane might be there.
Yeah.
I can see Spillane being up there. They always talk highly of Spillane and him being a leader on that team.
Yeah.
You said it was pretty obvious. Who you got?
Yeah, it's going to be Max, Spillane, Colton Miller. Every NFL team usually picks the quarterback as their captain.
Exactly.
It would surprise me to put Gardner Minshew as one of the captains. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that. Right, yeah. Well, Jimmy G was captain last year. And he was.
He was.
Yeah. But I think,
Yeah.
but I don't think there was doubt in McDaniel's secret mind that he was not going to be the starter the entire season.
Yeah, that's true.
They actually believed that he was going to be the starter, but I don't think Pierce and the whole team they're like Minshew's a starter, but they're like but then hey, AOC be ready, stay ready.
Nah,
just
facts.
But even if that does happen, they've shown between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew that they're going to work together and they're going to still root for each other, even if AP has to pull the plug on Gardner Minshew. And if that's the case, that's good leadership qualities. So you could very well see him as a captain and very well see him as a captain on the bench. And of course, Davante Adams, as one of the captains. But to me, I think it's pretty obvious. Surprise pick will probably be like a Marcus Epps. I can see him.
He was captain last year. He was captain last year.
Yeah.
So last year it was Max, Spillane, and Epps on defense. Then it was Jimmy G, Colton, Devonte, and Josh Jacobs. ironically, on offense. So this year, I think it'll be Gardner and Aiden. I think they'll both be captains. And I think it'll be Devonte and Colton, and I think defense will stay the same. Special teams, I don't know who was special teams captain last year. Was it Carlson? Maybe, or maybe it was probably Cole and Carlson. I'm assuming those are the main guys. So I'm assuming it's probably Cole and Carlson.
Yeah.
If that was them last year, because I couldn't see like Bobenmeyer being the captain, bro. You're a long snapper, so
no.
So it's probably those guys. I would assume. I think they'll hold true. I think Aiden and Minshew, and then Devonte and Colton, and then Spillane, Max, Epps.
Yeah, and
another guy that you can consider for special teams captain is DJ Turner.
I was thinking about it.
True, that is.
But he's
true.
young though.
Yeah.
He's young. You don't think that's going to stop him?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been knocking on the door at 53 for a couple years now, and whenever he has been on the 53, he's made a big impact in special teams.
Yeah.
So, that leadership by example, leading by example, that speaks volumes as far as playing a big impact on special teams, and I can see him being selected as one of the captains.
Yeah, man. Oh, surprise pick on defense, bro. Tyree West.
Oh boy, don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started, man.
Hey, you know what though? Just to piggyback off what Mike and what you were saying, Severe, about the quarterback situation. Lou Getsy kind of went out his way to talk about Minshew's leadership qualities. Yeah. So you can take that for what it's worth. Like, he actually went out his way to be like, hey, this dude's a leader. He's one of the first people in the building, or if not the first person in the building. It comes natural to him. So when you hear Getsy just talk about that, just that might be a sign that possibly he has a good chance of being that captain for the team. So if not a co-captain would be interesting. I've never seen that, but for sure, I now that I think about it, just hearing Getsy talk about his leadership qualities and hyping that up, I can see now, like, all right, they're probably going to make Minshew possibly a captain on the team.
I could be wrong on this, and somebody in the chat, let us know. Look this up. I believe, and when Andrew Luck was in Indy, I think him and Jacoby were co-captains. I could be wrong on that, but I think him and Jacoby Brissett were co-captains. But I could be wrong on that. Chat, let me know. But I think it was like a dynamic situation. 'Cause I remember the coaching staff talking about like Jacoby was as much of a leader on that team as Andrew Luck, and I was saying like, what, Jacoby Brissett? Like he's like with Andrew Luck, like the chosen one. Like he's as much of a leader on that team. So I think he was a co-captain too, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So so let us know in the chat, man. Let us know, like, hey, what y'all thinking about this, man? Do you think Davante, is always? Do you think he's 100% in the right in this? We understand that, like, DeSean Jackson was lying. You know what I mean? He wanted to get some attention. He wanted to. They're like, hey, you played for the Raiders. What do you got? What do you know what I mean? Like, come on, because the Raiders, they bring headlines. You know, it is what it is. Like, you notice these big networks, they tend to stay with the same teams. They'll talk about the Cowboys, they'll talk about the Chiefs, Mahomes, and the Raiders. Even though we, haven't been a winning franchise the last few years, or for a while now, we're still one of the most popular teams in the NFL. Like, we still garner a lot of attention. So they're gonna like, hey, what can you talk about when it regards to players? You played for them. Like, what's going on with Davante? Like, they probably pressure him to do that. Let us know in the chat, man. Do you think Davante kind of maybe we'll put a poll out there too as well? Do you think Davante kind of puts himself out there where he doesn't really kind of shut down the door when it comes to all that noise? Let us know. Leave a comment after the video if you're watching the replay. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to click in, like the thumbs, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Game 1, the Chargers this week, man. We can't wait, man. It's gonna be a great game. Me and Severe are gonna be at the game, and we're all gonna be going live, man, in LA. So as well as Mike, we're gonna be linking up, doing live shows. So be on the lookout for that. But we're not done yet. We got one more thing.
What's the deal?
Hey, I already knew that's what you were leaning towards. I was like, hey, we can go somewhere. I know it's gonna be a steakhouse, man. We'll see, man, for sure. We'll definitely figure that out. But we got one more extra point.
Yeah.
So look, man, if y'all don't know, man, extra point. We just got one last thing to talk about when it comes to certain topics regarding the Raiders or anything going around in the NFL. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with Mike. What's your extra point this week?
All right, so there, these Charger fans, the 12 of them that is around, they're talking. They gotta find something, right? And this time it was a dumb Chargers fan, an uninformed Chargers fan, picking a clip, one clip, of Max Crosby having being compromised just a little bit. You can go ahead and show it, man. This it go ahead and roll it, man. I'll explain. So a dog, the light shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Good for Justin Herbert, who looks like a Disney Channel quarterback. Like, if they casted a quarterback on a Disney Channel movie, it'd be Justin Herbert. And shout out to that guy who clipped it. He says, let's agree to disagree. Well, let's disagree and re-agree again, because let's look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So let's look at the numbers. So I'm looking at Max Crosby. Let's start from the 2021 season, because let's be honest, in 2020 he was dealing with injuries, and then the 19 season was his rookie year. So from 2021 on, the man against the Chargers in 6 games has had a total of 4 sacks, where he had a combined tackles 1 in 2021. In 2022 he had 7 in one game. He had 10 in another, 2 in another, 8 in another, and this is a defensive end. So those are big numbers. So he got one right there, but you're not looking at the full stats. And let me just break down just a little bit the stats from the Chargers according to PFF, right?
Yeah.
So in 2021, Max Crosby had an 85 defensive grade against the Chargers week 4 in 2021. And then week 18 of that same season, he had a 92 PFF grade. So that's in 2021. Keep that in mind. So we're going to keep rolling. 2022 against the Chargers, week 1 in 2022, 92.9 defensive grade according to PFF. And then the second game, he had an 84.6. Kind of a fall off, if you want to call it that, right? Exactly. And then in 2023, let's look at it last year. He played his best games against the Chargers. 93.6 PFF overall defensive grade with a pass rushing grade of 92.4 week 4 against the Chargers last season. And then week 15 in the ass whooping of the century against the Chargers, 90.7 defensive grade. So next time you think about trying to, make a point by putting one small little clip where, a dog, got his, got the light shined on his ass every once in a while, think about it again and do your research, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree, man. Mike, always on point. Yeah, man, look, hey, Max Crosby tends to, create a whole lot of havoc every time he plays against Herbert. I could just picture a whole bunch of plays where Max, if he's not getting the sack, he's in Herbert's face. And this is a game where he's not 100%. Whether he played practice in full, I don't care. They don't want Herbert to drop back 30 to 40 times this game, especially this game. So we'll see, man. Hey, look, Max is he's definitely going to be and you know what, too? To add another layer to this, Max is going to be on a mission this year. I think he's shooting for that Defensive Player of the Year award because the last couple years, you calling 20 sacks? Hey, shoo. There you go, calling a shot right there. 20 sacks for Max Crosby. I wouldn't be surprised because I think the last couple years, Max has felt disrespected at the end of the season. I think last season was him not even receiving a vote for Defensive Player of the Year, I believe. And
not a first place vote.
Not a first place vote. And the way the Raiders defense, how well they played, and he was leading that whole defense. Obviously, Max, if Max doesn't play on his defense, it's change. He changes the whole image. Everything just changes on defense for the Raiders when Max is not out there. So definitely, he felt disrespected. I think the year before, he felt like he should have been All Pro. He didn't get that honor at all. So I think everything is leading to Max kind of, I think, especially if the Raiders win some games this year, I think there's a chance where he can win that Defensive Player of the Year award. So, yeah, man, hey, definitely a great extra point. Severe, man, it's on you.
Yeah, man. Well, just to your point, part of the reason this defense falls apart when Max isn't on the field is because he's generally replaced by Tyree Wilson. So
Come on.
It's like you subbing out Kobe for Von Wafer at that point.
Damn,
bro.
Damn, man. Hey, you know what? Look, hopefully Tyree kind of proves his doubters wrong, man, this season, man. Hopefully he carves out a role and we won't be talking a whole lot of mess. But as of right now, Tyree, man, hopefully he could he's
smoke.
But until that day,
he's gonna be the punchline for sure. He's gonna be the punchline. Man.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
But Severe, man, what's your extra point this week?
Yeah, man. So we talked a little bit about it before. You talked about we talked about Gardner Minshew being the captain, and to be a captain, I think you have to have certain qualities, right? You have to be able to admit fault And it's not enough to admit fault because we've had a quarterback in the past who shall remain unnamed, whose catchphrase was, you put it all on me, you blame it on me. It is okay, like, to accept responsibility, but at the end of the day, what are you doing after that, right? Are you correcting that behavior and making that past wrong a right? And I think that is something that Gardner Minshew has the ability to do, and he has shown in the past he has done. And that's why, every fan base he has played for, whether it be Jacksonville Jaguars, whether it be the Philadelphia Eagles, whether it be the Indianapolis Colts, they all love that guy. He always becomes a cult hero with that fan base, and he's also always been a guy that is not just liked by the fans, but he has just as much admiration from his teammates and from his coaches. And I have a play here that kind of encapsulates all of that.
All right, let's go ahead and run the clip.
Unfortunately,
out in this backside, your eyes are here. You got to feel that as a quarterback.
Hey, I hope he brings that, man. I hope he brings that element to the Raiders offense. I mean, he got pieces everywhere.
He's already telling AP, man. He's telling AP already. Before AP even named him starter, he was telling AP, I got you.
Yeah. And for a guy that we talk about not having the best arm, he's throwing it downfield. It's getting to his guy, you know what I mean? It's not like he's not hitting on it. I mean, that was a question for AOC. One of the questions at AOC obviously was the mobility, and for him to accurately hit his guys downfield. And Minshew at least answers two of those things right there. He has that big play factor, and he has that mobility. So Raiders definitely went with him. So hopefully hopefully he's a starting quarterback for the rest of the season. I don't want to see. I know we're talking about like it could possibly be AOC and Minshew going back and forth the quarterback. But be honest with you, I just want it to be one quarterback. I don't want it to be that back and forth. I don't want to see AOC. If AOC is the backup, I want him to be the backup for the entire season and let Minshew ball out. If Minshew, and if the Raiders have to make a move, that means we're not winning, and the quarterback is holding us back. And AP is trying to figure out a way to win some games. So hopefully Minshew just holds it down. But yeah, man, definitely good extra point. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Severe's favorite player in the NFL.
Justin Fields?
Second favorite player. Okay, my bad. But no, it's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs again is in the news, man. And he can't stop talking about the Raiders. And you know what? I think he wanted to stay with the Raiders. As much as we want to say what, a lot of Raider fans are kind of like, they felt a certain type of way of how he left, how he handled the situation, this, that, and the third. But he sat down, had an interview with a reporter out with The Athletic, and he talked about, his time with McDaniels as head coach, how he felt disrespected playing in that Hall of Fame game with McDaniels. And, oh man, excuse me. And one of the things that he mentioned was that he literally was offered contracts. He said there was interest with the Bears, the Broncos, and Cardinals, Dolphins, Giants, Packers, Texans, and Chiefs. But he said in the end, let me go ahead and put this on the screen so everybody can see. Let's see here. All right, so this is hilarious because I don't think I've ever seen this before.
That's a very pause-worthy quote in that second paragraph. Like what? What? Like, hey, I don't know what kind of free agent meeting he was on. That's like Josh Jacobs, you brought P. Diddy out here to recruit you to the Giants. New York native Puff Daddy.
Yo.
Oh man. Severe, man. You're hilarious. So yeah, man. So look, so he talks about all these teams that are interested in him during free agency. He felt like, he wanted to go to a team that, he didn't want to go to a dominant team. He also mentioned he didn't want to go to the Chiefs. he would never go to the Chiefs, which I kind of respect. I kind of like hearing that. But, obviously he's not a Raider, so it's like, whatever, It is what it is. But he didn't want to go to a dominant team. He wanted to be the guy that, as you can see, it says right here, to be the dominant team. So he ends up going to the Packers, we all know. But he says in the end, he said Giants did come on strong with an offer between $3 million and $4 million, more than he eventually accepted. But this right here, man, I don't think I ever seen. He said, but a league source said the Giants never made an offer to the Jacobs.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs been kicking it with DeSean Jackson. That's what
so
him and DeSean Jackson been kicking it too tough.
Well, look,
Super cat brothers, bro.
What I find kind of weird about this is because the guy is clearly interviewing Josh Jacobs. He's clear. This is definitely a piece about Josh Jacobs, his whole experience with the Raiders and how it ended, and now he's with the Packers, right? But I've never, but this guy literally had to put this in his interview, and I'm sure Josh Jacobs probably read this, man. I don't know how he feel about this, but he said he checked his sources and said the Giants never made an offer to Jacobs. But the other side to it, do you think the Giants would admit that they would offer him a contract? They offered him, I don't know who this guy's sources is.
I don't think the team itself would admit it, but generally the sources have people that they have people that whisper and say stuff, and it would come out. Even if it was something small, even if they were correcting the record, like hey, there were some probatory talks. We had some interest, but at the end of the day, we didn't. We couldn't agree or whatever. But he just flat out said, "Yo, he never." I just hear the narrative voice. I hear Josh Jacobs saying it, and then the narrative voice coming on right after. But we can confirm, and he's such an offer. It's hilarious, bro. It's just
because look, think about it. Because when we look at Josh Jacobs' contract with the Packers, it's not guaranteed, right?
After the first year, no, it's four 1-year deals. They have it's the thing 12.5 guaranteed the first year. I want to say something like that.
Yeah.
He can make as much as 14.8. Don't quote me on that figure, chat. I may be wrong, but that's about the guarantees. But each year is a team option. So even if Josh Jacobs comes out every year and has his best year ever, he's never going to make more than $14 million a year for the next 4 years, which is going to probably be being a running back. That's a lot of running backs don't last 4 years in the league. So to be stuck in that kind of contract for 4 straight years, you basically decided you're going to probably retire a Chief. Not Chief, a Packer.
Yeah, and I wish Josh Jacobs stayed a Raider, but at the end of the day, come on, man, just let it go. Just let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Hopefully, this is the last time we hear him talking about the team and this and that. Come on, man. And if this is true that he's lying about contract offers, that's just come on, man. This was a candidate for flag on the play, but we let it. We just we couldn't do anymore. We're done talking about the Josh Jacobs.
And maybe this is his way of trying to up the market for his next deal. Maybe this is maybe this is his failed attempt at trying to get him $3 to $4 million more and have teams chasing after him after the end of the season if it doesn't work out with the Packers. So
maybe
maybe that's how he saw it and didn't think that they were going to do some research behind his statement. And it turned out to be a big fail, allegedly.
And on top of that, too, I kind of find it hard to believe that he would turn down a deal that offered him $3 million to $4 million annually, and he's a running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Especially the Giants.
Yeah.
Big market, get your name out there, you know what I mean? That would have been – and they don't have really I understand he kind of mentioned one of the attractions of going to the Packers because they have Jordan Love becoming quarterback. But at the same time, you playing with the Giants, you're getting the ball. It's right. You, man. It's your show. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
if that's the case, why not go to the Dolphins? You worry
exactly.
About
and to also if that's the case, why didn't they get $3 to $4 million more for Saquon Barkley?
Exactly. That's what that's what I don't get. Why wouldn't the Giants just give that same money to Saquon?
Yeah,
that's why it didn't make sense. Because and plus, like, because it's not like Wisconsin doesn't have any state income tax. Their state income tax, I think, is like between 3 and 8%. It's and in New York, it's like between 4 and 10%. So he would have still made more money in New York. So I mean, it's a money situation. So it has to be just a winning situation. But if it's just winning, I'm going to the Texans. Like, go to the Texans, a state that has no state income tax, and you get to play with C.J. Stroud and Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. Under Bobby Slowick, we saw it kind of. Devin Singletary had a kind of resurgent year. So I don't know. But to each his own. To each his own. Good luck to Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, good luck to Josh Jacobs, man. I look, at the end of the day, like, he could have went to a lot of different teams, but it's like, now that more that I think about this, I was kind of stuck on this. A league source saying that they never made the offer. I was like, damn, like, why would he lie about that? That's crazy. But then you start looking at what he said, $3 million to $4 million, and like, what? Like, how do you not accept that? And you're a running back in the NFL where, like, literally your whole thing with the Raiders is because they weren't offering what you wanted. So, and you left because of that. And now you're saying that you declined an offer where they offered you $3 to $4 million more annually as a running back in the NFL. Like literally running backs right now, it's hard to get contracts. And as far as Saquon too, I think Giants when the Eagles offered him a contract, I think the Giants tried to come in last minute to grab him, but I think his heart was with Philadelphia, to be honest with you. So he ended up going there. But, it is what it is, man. Hopefully this is the last that we hear of Josh Jacobs, man. Shout out to him. Once a Raider, always a Raider. You know what I mean? Much respect to him when he played for us, but, now he's a Packer. It is what it is, man. Yeah. So just want to chime in on this as an extra point, but let us know in the chat, man, how y'all feel about this, man. Like, do you think this is Josh Jacobs really just trying to – you think he's really hurt? Because he's out there in Green Bay, and Green Bay, Las Vegas, and I know he grew up in Arizona. Did he grow up in Arizona?
He grew up in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, so, and you go all the way to Green Bay, and it's like negative whatever degrees outside. And a lot of things close at a certain time where he's not used to. He's probably like, damn, should have signed that contract with the Raiders. Probably should.
Man.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild.
But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. My guy Severe, let the people know where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Y'all know what it is, man. It's the Severe Raider here on YouTube, the Severe Raider on IG, on Snapchat, on X/Twitter, on TikTok, everywhere, man. We're gonna be dropping probably something tomorrow night, Saturday night. Me, Mike, and Pharaoh. Welcoming our guy Pharaoh to our stomping grounds here in LA. And then probably doing some stuff for the game as well. We're going to definitely be at the game. If anybody in the chat is going to be attending the game, and make sure y'all let us know in the chat as well. And then make sure y'all follow us on IG, man. If y'all going to be at the game, we're going to be tailgating there. So hit us on IG, man. We can link up, man. We can put some names to some faces.
Yeah, facts, man. And this is what we're going to hear on Sunday, man. This is what we're going to hear, man. The Raiders' unofficial home opener, man. So, Big Mike, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to.
Man, you can find me X, IG, Big Mike Raider. X, you can find me Big Mike, the Angry Raider, because it has been fueled to capacity, man, from the beginning of the season, the beginning of the offseason, starting from Max Crosby not getting the first place vote. Watching the Chiefs in our home stadium win a Super Bowl, and Taylor Swift going straight, the camera panning straight to Taylor Swift when they win the Super Bowl. And then, the disrespect that we've already mentioned in the offseason. Nobody's counting us to win more than 6 games. That anger is fueled to capacity right now. And let's take it out on the Chargers this weekend. I got a score of 20-17 Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Okay. 20-17 Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too, man. Like low scoring game, 20-17 sounds about right too. I think I said earlier in the week, I said 21-24. You know, so we'll see. It's a divisional game. I feel like it's gonna be a physical game. They're gonna try to run the ball. We'll see how it shakes out, man. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun, man. This weekend, Chargers, Raiders, game 1, man. To open the season, the unofficial home opener in LA. Me, Big Mike, Severe are gonna be getting together for a post game show, and as well as we'll see how it shakes out on Saturday, because I know we're gonna link up and stuff like that. We might have a show on Saturday. We'll see. So be on the lookout. What you got to do though, you got to make sure you hit the like button, you got to comment, subscribe, but hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. We do this weekly. Around the Shield, we drop this every Friday. As well as me and Severe, we do the 50-50 show every Tuesday evening, new time. But definitely tune in. But we're gonna be going live this weekend, man. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have a good time, man. Finally, we get to link up, man. And I know Severe, we met a few times, but like Mike, man, hey, it's gonna be fun this weekend, bro. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, hey, everybody that's gonna go to the game that's in the area, definitely stop by for the tailgate. We're going to be at the Pink Lot, I believe. The Pink Lot is where everybody's going to be meeting up. So if y'all want to link up, have a good time, talk some shit, make fun of these Charger fans. Are they going to even show up? I don't even think they're going to show up. They're going to stay at the house.
All 12 of them.
Yeah, all 12 of them.
As Mike said.
All three of them. Yeah, man. Hey, but yeah, look, hey, but it's going to be fun this weekend. Make sure to tune in, and we appreciate everybody coming through. Any last thoughts for anybody y'all want to throw? Oh yeah, make sure to everybody that's that's pre-ordered, be on the lookout for an email I'm going to be sending out to give you an update on the merch, the 50-50 shirt, and more too. And there's going to be some other stuff, some extra stuff too. So be on the lookout for that, and we'll make an announcement for everybody else as well. So just be on the lookout on the community tab, social media, Around the Shield. Make sure to give Around the Shield on IG and on X a follow as well. That's where you'll see updates from Big Mike, myself, Severe, all that good stuff, as well as our own social media platforms, as you can see on the screen, man. But any last thoughts anybody want to, leave the people with?
Man,
I think we come out. I think we shocked the world, man. I think we put up I think we put up more points than expected. I think Devonte has a big first half. I think Jacoby and Michael Mayer have huge second halves, and I think Zamir White. I'm gonna say he goes for over 100. I'm gonna say he goes for 100.
Hey, I predicted it. I said 105. I said 105. And like 25 yards receiving. You know what I mean? To give a solid start to the season, because I think Zamir is gonna be he's a solid player.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I'm not gonna lie. If I start seeing him hit some big runs, I'm talking about like some 60, 70 yard touchdowns. We gonna talk that shit. We gonna talk that, man. When we get there. All right, man. Let's head out. Hey, we went a little bit over, but we appreciate everybody coming through. Till next time, peace.
Just win, baby. Hello. You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.